Busia Yediani H the Church of Pentecost. As a matter of fact, menye Pentecost member there. Now so no one project bi in fact many edge home pa. They are really impacting the society. Enya sorry nko na mo ye project ahodo e de boa oman no. Na I believe say as time goes on no, one project ahodo bi wo ho a ye beda na di na amanfo nso ahu wonwuma pa woye e wo man no. I never knew say Pentecost Church I had this project. Yenhwade. No, and you see, na ebane saint here are sorry nesi woye these projects. You heard the chairman or the tuja.
According to the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for the Treatment of Prisoners, all countries have an obligation to observe certain basic human rights standards in their prisons. Standards regarding the conditions of detention must be observed regardless of a state party's level of development. The UN demands a minimum floor space and cubic content of air for each prisoner, adequate sanitary facilities, clothing which shall by in no manner degrading or humiliating, provision of a separate bed, and provision of food of nutritional value adequate for health and strength. I decide to go around and check how far these standards are being met in this prison. The prison administration is supposed to provide inmates with food of wholesome quality. More than 1 cedi 80 pesos is needed to provide this kind of meal for inmates. For years, prisoners have been fed on 1 cedi 80 pesos daily. Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, Emmanuel Ajato, says this amount is woefully inadequate. Until all these things are done, inmates will continue drinking watery porridge without sugar and either eat their famous gari, which goes with a kind of colored water mixed with palm oil, supposed to be palm nut soup, or banku, which goes with what I would describe as improvised granite soup. For first-hand information, the inmates together with their officers agreed to lead me to their places of convenience. The stench is extremely unbearable.
Okay, so I have been here for just a few hours. The congestion is just too much, and as you can hear at the background, they are not very holy. So only time they see people like us around, they will go to tell their stories.
I am struggling to breathe as a result of the stench and heat here, all because I am a first-time visitor. I wonder what asthma patients here go through. The remand population as of today is 625, and there are only 4 toilets here. Unfortunately, 2 of them are out of use now. This means the 625 inmates here share only 2 toilets. They form long queues in the morning to wait for their turn. At times, they do it on themselves. And just a few steps away from the almost half full water closet are scores of inmates preparing different kind of food from their make-believe palm nut soup. Before they can eat the gari provided them, they have to sieve and do away with some large particles in the gari. Remember, all these things are taking place not far from their toilet. I wonder what will happen when there is outbreak of cholera.
As you can see, this gentleman is fortunate to have received food from home. So family members were here to visit him, and they brought him food. So he's sharing with his friends here. So it tells the difference between the food we eat here and the one we eat outside.
This is food from outside. I want you to pay attention to this place. It is just about 4
I am back
p.m.
at the Kumasi prison. It is few minutes past 4 p.m. and it is time for the inmates to be locked up, so officers are conducting their last roll call. Inside the cells, the picture looks horrifying. Human beings packed up in a room with not even an inch space between them. They have been carefully arranged according to the years they have spent in the prison. The leader of this cell, Isifu Musa, says there are names for each sleeping position.
Those in the middle are referred to as sardines because we have arranged them like the way sardines are arranged in a tin. There's no space between them.
And I have for us for now. I'm a ban on my channel. The film with
On my extreme right are the elderly and those who are not well. We call them tabo. The aged sleep there.
And I will move the pick up.
Those on my left, very close to the door, we call them pickups.
Now, please listen to me. See, these are young men. They are not the worst of people. For some of us, but for Christ, would have been there. There's no rich man's son there. No, they don't go there and be kept there. These are young men who have fought, they're smoking weed, they have done that and all that. And don't think that they are the worst of people. For us as a church, sinners are our clients. So wherever they are, we need to go for them. Wherever they are, we need to go for them. You see, if we are able to build all these structures here, and a certain people amongst us do not even have somewhere to lay their heads, Jesus would have asked us, when I was in prison, you didn't visit me. And the people said, when did you go there? He said, because you didn't do it for these boys. You never did it for me. These are human beings created in the image of Christ. The Lord Almighty sits up there and is not pleased at all. The issue is not all about government. If we can lend support, let us do it as people of God. So we intend to decongest prisons in Ghana. We intend to do that. You see, this is what we want to do. We want to build a place like this. Yeah. This one will have a place, a holding for them where they will be, that is their room, their dormitory. And then there will be a chapel, which will also serve as a classroom. Because those who qualify to do BC will help them for them to write their exams. And And then those who can do the WASI, we will help them through. And then we are adding tertiary education to it, so that at least our PUC will give them some accreditation. And we have people who are prepared. They have come to see me. They want to give them tertiary education in the prisons. So we will meet them with Christ, work on their heart. We will touch their minds by helping them with their education. And then we also have a workshop there, which will give them some skills. Now, when they come out, they will not be a burden to the society. They can come in and serve the society well. Yeah. Proper correctional service. So we intend that as God blesses us, we will be establishing the prisons across. When we said we would do this, someone came to me one morning. He's not a member of the church. He came and told me that we should try and fill the whole regions with prisons. I said, my friend, we don't have that money. We intend to just lend support. So, Apostle, I encourage you to do that. And the man said, if you build one, I also build one. I looked at him and said, what is that? Non-member of the Church of Pentecost. So we intended to build the first one at Ejira, because the prison officers gave us that place. And this is what we have done so far. So far, yeah. But we have gone beyond this. So that first one was a picture, just an impression, but this one is real. Ejira. Then this man who came to tell me that if you build one, he also built one. But some 3 months ago or less, he came to us with money to go and start another one. So we went and we have started another one. This is still the Ejira one. We have started another one at Isam. And this is the state of the Nsawamu one. Do you have the Nsawamu one ready? This is still the Ejira one. No, they don't have it ready. Okay. If they don't have it, just about 3 weeks plus, the same person also called us that he's gotten some money to, that we should go and start another one. So we have started another one at Obuasi. We just did the sword cutting just about a week ago at Obuasi. Then I went to a local church. I decided to throw some light on the vision. And I showed this video. When I finished, the presiding elder picked the mic. He said he didn't know that people are suffering in this country like that. He never knew. The wife said whilst we were showing it, he was weeping. See, Ghana has traveled far, but we can lend some support and get our people to be more free. So he decided that, but this is the Nsawamu one. We picked it with a drum. This is the Nsawamu one. That is a state now. He decided that himself and the wife will also build one prison for us. Yeah. So far we have 4. We never asked anybody to help us. I decided not to go to anybody called supposed rich person in church to tell him or her that please help us to raise some prisons to decongest the Ghanaian prisons. I never did, because I trusted God to do this for us. Some time ago, KSM decided to make a ridicule of us. He said it's only in Ghana that churches build prisons and government builds cathedral. And some of you thought he was speaking sense, but don't mind him. He doesn't have that heart that we have. So don't follow him. Don't trust him more than your leaders. No, don't trust him more than your leaders. He cannot lead a church. At best, he can say things for people to laugh, but not this ministry. Yeah. So when God is speaking, he doesn't speak to people like that. Not to him about this. So don't follow people. Just they make any statement about your church and you go following them against your leaders. You saw it for yourself. If this is Kumasi,